What's up everyone, SmugStick here. A brand new Dragon Ball series is finally upon us. Dragon Ball Daima Episode 1 is out. I'm going to be recapping the entire episode and pointing things of note out. There is a ton of lore. So, spoilers ahead. At least here in the States, you can watch it on Crunchyroll, but I think it's going to be on Netflix later on as well. So, before the recap, I want to make something clear. This does take place right after the Buu Saga, specifically 1 year after it. We know this because our heroes are at Trunks' 9th birthday party. In the Buu Saga, Trunks was 8 years old. So, this does predate Super. We begin, as we often do, with a recap of Dragon Ball, with the main shot inside of the Dragon Radar being specifically taken from the final chapter of Dragon Ball. Though it's representing the first chapter. We get a few glimpses of the stuff pre-Buu arc, but not that many. We get an explanation that Goku is a Saiyan, we see Raditz arriving on Earth, and we see a shot of Dragon Ball minus Bardock, or his Dragon Ball Super version. It's mentioned a couple of times through the episode, but there seems to be a focus on the fact that Saiyans remain young for a long time. We see Frieza, Cell, and finally Kid Buu. I want to point out that Kid Buu in particular has mittens as hands, which is what he had in the manga, unlike the anime where he had fingers. This is similar to how in Superhero, and now in Daima, Piccolo's muscles were colored yellow. We get this really nice group shot of everybody, and our first look at Dragon Ball Daima Gohan. He doesn't appear properly in this episode besides this one shot. Almost everyone is in brand new clothes, even Goku himself. Although Peace returned to Earth after the Majin Buu arc, something is threatening it once again. The title cards here are interesting. The tradition in Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z has been to use two-sentence titles, but in this we have much simpler ones, just literally one word. The title card of the episode itself is something we see later on. I'll point it out once we get there. We open things up on the Demon Realm. This is a location we've never seen in canon, but we've heard it mentioned by Dabura, as he was the king of the Demon Realm. We have seen versions of it in Dragon Ball Heroes, Dragon Ball Online, etc. But it seems like nothing from that is taken into account here. There has always been this theme of trees when it comes to the Demon Realm though, and this continues here, as the castle is sprouting from a giant tree. Runes surround our new villains, as we get beautiful reanimated scenes of the Buu arc. These were helmed by Chikashi Kubuta, who also did the 2D intro of Superhero. It looks beautiful there, and it looks beautiful now. Here we get introduced to our new villains. First is Degasu, someone who looks like a Kaioshin, but as he says later on, isn't one. His name comes from my Japanese way of saying to be, and later on we meet his sister, Dr. Arinsu, whose name is also similar. It comes from the way of saying to exist, used by Edo-era harlots. You may notice that their names are similar to Zamazu and Gowazu, whose names also meant to be. He's accompanied by Goma, whose name comes from sesame, which is a flower. As we'll see, many of the new demons are named after flowers. Here it is revealed that Shin is Degasu's older brother, while Goma is the next in line to be the Demon King. Here's something that took me by surprise, and it's that they don't seem to know that mortal beings are able to be powerful. They're in shock when they see Vegeta flying and shooting blasts, but they specifically focus on the ears, as pointy ears is an indication of a demon. They also think Vegeta is using magic, so maybe they don't know exactly about Ki? A lot of these reanimated scenes look straight out of the manga, like this shot of Majin Vegeta versus Goku. When they see Dabura die, they announce that Goma has become the new Demon King. They're also knowledgeable on Majin Buu, and they're very afraid of his power, saying that now that Babidi has Majin Buu, he'll come after them next. So maybe Babidi was planning on taking over the Demon Realm. When they see Piccolo, they're surprised to see a Namekian. They don't know why there's one on Earth. And here is where one of the most amazing revelations of the entire episode comes in. We've been speculating about this for a long time. As it turns out, Namekians originate from the Demon Realm. This was hinted at by Monaito on Dragon Ball Super Chapter 69, when he said that they were originally from a different dimension. Goma and Degasu mentioned that they have been searching for Namekians for a while but couldn't find any, so they deduced that they must have escaped to the outside world. Specifically, they ended up on Universe 6's planet Namek, Universe 7's planet Namek, and planet Cereal, with Kami and Dende of course eventually making it to Earth. This all ties back in with Piccolo's origin, as the Demon King Piccolo. It seems like when Kami and Piccolo split, his evil half remembered his ancestry. Degusa doesn't seem to have that much of a read on the characters, as he thinks Vegeta killed Buu, but Goma doubts it, and of course he regenerates. They also point out the Dragon Balls. They know what they are, but they're surprised to see that there's 7 of them, and that they're much smaller. Degusa mentions having read about Porunga, and about the Dragon Balls. But them specifying 7 is interesting, because as it turns out, The Demon Realm has 3 Dragon Balls. Degasu also takes note of the password and the fact that they grant 3 wishes. This is interesting because if he knows about Porunga, he should know that he also grants 3 wishes. But if he knows about Porunga, he should know that there's Namekians in Universe 7. He also makes a note of Shenron's name, and here is where one of my theories comes in. I think when he says that he knows of Porunga, he doesn't mean the dragon from planet Namek. Porunga is a Namekian word. As Dende tells us, it means God of Dreams. So when he's talking about a Porunga he's read about, I think he's talking about the Porunga from the Demon Realm. I believe that those 2 dragons just share a name, which is why he's surprised to hear that Shenron grants 3 wishes. They're also very surprised by the power of everybody in the Buu arc, and their ability to defeat Kid Buu. They are excited that Buu's no longer around and to stand in their way. That's when the sister, Dr. Arinsu, comes in. She reminds me a lot of Towa from Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Heroes. She's also a scientist from the Demon Realm, but she's not Dabora's sister like Towa was. Instead, she's Degasu's sister, which makes her Shin's sister. The origin of the Kaioshin has been explained in Daisenshu a long time ago. The Shinjin, or core people, sprout like fruit from a tree in the core world. Normal fruits become Kaio like King Kai, while special golden fruits become Kaioshin. There is a chance that the fruit will be corrupted though, and those become makaioshin, or Demon Supreme Kai. So it looks like Degasu and Arinsu are just that. It's also mentioned that Dabora was funding Arinsu's research. What research that is, we're not exactly sure of. But the way she's presented, she seems a lot more threatening than the 2 main villains we have. I think she's conspiring against them, as she taunts them with the idea of the heroes coming after them, prompting Goma to act. It seems like currently they're in the Demon King Palace, the highest level of the Demon Realm. The lowest level seems to have a bunch of giant rocks and a little house. The second one, I believe, is where Namekians come from, since it looks like planet Namek, though I have to point out that there's also a King Kai planet there. And the top one is the gloomiest one, where the Demon King Castle is. I mentioned before that the Demon Realm has 3 Dragon Balls, so I think there's going to be 1 per realm. They're all protected by Tamagamis, powerful warriors who have the Dragon Balls on their chest. They were created by the Namekian Neva, who they talk about as if he's the only Namekian in the Demon Realm left. The Tamagamis have been protecting the Dragon Balls for years and years, so nobody's been able to make a wish for thousands. And so they choose to go after the Earth's Dragon Balls so they don't have to face them. We get some expansions on magic here. They assume the Earth's Dragon Ball's power is based on white magic, which seems to be outer world good magic. Degasu is worried that Goma's wish will have to use black magic, probably just evil Demon Realm magic. So the dragon wouldn't be able to grant such a wish, like killing the heroes. We have had ideas like this in the past. I believe Oolong asks Shenron to kill the Saiyans, but the explanation as to why they couldn't do it was because it surpassed Kami's power. So perhaps it goes beyond that. Instead, they come up with the idea of making everyone involved in Buu's destruction into kids, since that wouldn't be a black wish. Meanwhile, Arinsu eavesdrops. The second wish they're gonna ask about is the evil third eye, the Tertian Oculus. Apparently, if placed on your forehead, it grants unbelievable power. It was lost while Dabora's father, Abura, was the king of the Demon Realm, the pun between them being abracadabra. This is the first time we've ever heard about this evil third eye, and the only being with a third eye we can really think about is Tenshinhan. It does seem to be like this is an actual artifact, but perhaps there is a connection. I don't think Tien is going to be an important character in this series, he's not even at the party, but it would be really cool if there was something there. Maybe his ancestors got hold of it and now he has that third eye. Degasu also asks if he can get the final wish, and Goma says he'll think about it. He's going to be all busy making speeches in the 3 demon worlds. As they walk off, we see our first glance at Glorio, one of the 2 new characters we're getting to join our heroes. We then cut to outside where we see the first Tamagami, the guardian of the 1-star Dragon Ball. Like I said before, I think there's going to be 1 per level, and a Dragon Ball is projected above him. This is the thing I was talking about the title card. It's actually the ground where the pedestal is. This symbol around the pedestal is also what the guards in the trailers are wearing, so it looks like they're the guards of the Demon Realm. We get our first appearance of Neva, the Namekian creator of the Dragon Balls. He thanks the Tamagami for protecting it, and he seems really unassuming and smells bad. He hasn't taken a shower in hundreds of years. He looks a lot like Monaito from the Granola arc, which is appropriate since it was Monaito that gave us the first hint that Namekians were not from this universe. I think this is kind of like a Yoda situation, a weird guy who seems all powerless but is actually very strong in different ways. He's happy to hear that there are other Namekians out there still. The way they travel from the Demon Realm to the outside realms is really cool. They need to enter a fish's mouth that serves as a portal. The pin number to go to the outside realm is 0493. This takes you to a room full of doorways. There's another little fish there that asks them where to go, so fish seem to be the gatekeepers between realms. He also asks which universe they want to go to, so it seems like from this room they can travel to any of the 12 universes, and from then specify a location to said universe. Portal 3 is the one closest to Earth. They mentioned that Babidi and Dabura took this portal, as did Dr. Arinsu, who has already been to Earth. We don't know when she did this, but it could have been just now or before. We then cut to Trunks' 9th birthday party. In attendance are Goku, Chi-Chi, Goten, Vegeta, Bulma, 18, Krillin, Marin, Yamcha, Puar, Piccolo, Oolong, Majin Buu, Mr. Satan, Shin, Kibito, surprisingly no old Kai, Roshi, and the Ox King. It's cool that Roshi and the Ox King are sitting together. They seem to have stayed friends beyond just being master and student. They've also drank the most out of anybody, with 6 bottles of wine to themselves. Krillin is also wearing his watch, so it seems like he's already a police officer. They once again talk about Saiyans hitting a growth spurt at around 15 years old. Of course, we saw this happen in Dragon Ball Super Superhero with Goten and Trunks, but the focus on it makes me wonder if they'll do something with that later on. Goku is surprised to see Shin and Kibito. He's confused as to why they're not fused anymore. If you remember in the Buu arc, Shin and Kibito tested the Potara and fused into Kibito Shin, or Kibito Kai. This is where we get something of a retcon. In Dragon Ball Super, they're still fused together up until the Universe 6 arc, where they use the Namekian Dragon Balls to defuse. Here, not only are they defused, but we also get a different explanation as to why Goku and Vegeta defused. Kibito Shin remembered how Goku and Vegeta defused when they went inside of Buu. It seems like the bad air really is what did it. So they asked Majin Buu to do the same for them, and spit them out when they were defused. I also absolutely love this shot of Goku and Vegeta. It's just straight out of the manga. This does make me wonder about Dragon Ball Super though. Are they just going to fuse again by the end of it? Or is this really an alternate path? One of the reasons they defused was because Shin says that Kibito is just way too old. They also mentioned that they asked Shenron to turn Buu into a good guy and let him remain on Earth. This is the first time we've heard any of this. The only wish relating to Buu beforehand was to have every human forget about his atrocities, so he could live peacefully with Mr. Satan. Gohan is also mentioned as not being there because he's studying, and Goku's really annoyed by it. So we're back to this again. Goku ate too much, getting this little fat Goku, and so Goku and Vegeta go to spar overhead, and it's really pretty. I love the soundtrack so far, but specifically in this section. The theme song, Jaka Jakan, is used as a motif. It reminds me very much of how Kikuchi would implement Chala He Chala and We Gotta Power into the soundtrack, so I hope they keep doing it. A lot of the sound effects also seem to be the ones from Z instead of the ones from Super. The composer of the soundtrack is Kosuke Yamashita, who has composed Super Sentai for a long time. Meanwhile, Dende and Popo are at the lookout. I want to point out that Dende seems to have remained really small from the end of the Buu arc. This was a mistake by Toriyama. Dende started off pretty tall, and by the end of it, he just looked like his Namek Saga self again. He also has visible fangs, which I think is really cool. And so the villains arrive. Neva says that he hasn't seen a Namekian in thousands of years, and when Degesu is asked if he's a Kaioshin, he says that he's not exactly that. So I think that he is a makaioshin. Degesu points out Dende's ears as evidence that his ancestors come from the demon realm. Popo also has pointy ears, but according to the Daisenshu, Popo and Korin come from Otherworld, and they were sent out to help God. Neva is promised a life extension of 1,000 years, so I guess Goman can just do that? Again, Neva was the one to create the demon realm Dragon Balls, so he has a powerful connection to them. Despite the Dragon Balls resting right now and being stone, Neva is able to bring them to him and revert them back to being active. Also worth noting that the Namekians have 5 fingers instead of 4 like the manga, so it looks like just Buu's hands were changed. Dende tries to stop them, but gets knocked down. When the sky darkens, the heroes don't think it is Shenron, because the Dragon Ball should still be stone, while Kibito and Shin sense something, probably Degesu and Goma. And so that terrible wish is made, to turn everyone into children. Shenron needs specifics, so the adults will be turned into first graders, and the kids into babies. Honestly, this scene of them transforming is kind of upsetting. They all look to be in real pain. I don't like seeing them like this. I love these guys. I also love the way Masako Nozawa's voice changes from adult Goku to kid Goku's. You can really tell the difference. And so the episode ends with the credits roll, but we do get one last look at Glorio. In fact, the next episode will be named Glorio. And that was Dragon Ball Daima episode 1. I absolutely loved it and I can't wait for more. Placing this during a birthday party almost reminds me of Battle of Gods, as if Toriyama was remaking and remixing a bunch of different ideas together. This episode was really heavy on lore, really heavy on setup, but I often say that Dragon Ball does need more things like this, so we can get even richer lore. Finally, the confirmation that Namekians do come from the demon realm is really cool, tying it all nicely together with Demon King Piccolo. That's probably one thing I'm the most excited about, is finding out more about them. Placing this before Super is a little weird. I wonder how they're gonna justify Kibito Shin, or if they're just not. They could straight up just ignore the problems and tell the story they want to tell. The animation is of course really nice. For the next episode, I think Popo or Dende are gonna contact Goku, and they'll go visit everyone at Kami's lookout. And that's when Gloria will arrive. He's gonna probably see them as enemies at first, but once he hears that Goma already got his wishes, he'll probably team up with them. There's probably going to have to be some kind of explanation as to why they just don't go to Planet Namek and wish for everybody to get turned back into normal, or they could just be in a hurry and leave. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. We're going to have so many more revelations, so much more adventure, and of course, we gotta keep Akira Toriyama in our minds and hearts, thanking him for bringing this amazing series. It feels like a bookend to this new era of Dragon Ball. This is the one Dragon Ball series he's been the most involved in, so it's going to be really special as a send-off. But I do think we're probably gonna have something else he worked on later on. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at SmugStickDB. And have you ever wondered about the weirdest official Dragon Ball what-ifs of all time? Like Gotenks accidentally going back in time and saving the universe? Check out my video about official Dragon Ball what-ifs on screen.